This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now, the search for a suspect who shot a man multiple times early this morning. The challenge detectives are already dealing with as they work to solve the case.
Well, summer is here and spending time outdoors means you're at risk of dealing with ticks. How to do a tick check and what to do if you spot one on you.
And 465 construction making it hard for some drivers to stay inside the lanes. The issues they were having with the temporary lane stickers coming up. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Meteorologist Todd Clausen here this morning, and we've got more rain headed our way, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, every day there's rain in this forecast. It's just a matter of which day has the most rain, and today's kind of like one of those days it's in between. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday. Today it's pretty spotty before I think the showers and storms become numerous once again tomorrow. So our rain chances are obviously out there this morning already. If you've been with us here, we've been talking about these slow-moving downpours that have been making their way off towards the northeast. Some heavy rain right now just south of Anderson, north of Pendleton there, over towards the Middletown area. And then as you work your way just south of Muncie, some heavy rain. And then from farmland up into portions of the Albany and Ward area, we're dealing with some heavy rain. Then down to the south, some rain moving back up into Bedford, which is bad news. Mitchell as well over on US 50 as you work your way into Jackson County. The ground completely saturated here across the area. So these downpours will continue to slowly lift off and out of the area. So many of you get to work just fine here without any rain. You just have to contend with a little bit of patchy fog that's out there. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s. It's really, really mild, really muggy out there as well. So you kind of walk out into a wall of humidity, and we deal with that humidity from start to finish throughout the day today. The downpours become a little more numerous as we head into the afternoon hours. Watch out for flooding, but not too concerned about the threat of severe weather here throughout the day today. Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. So Todd just mentioned patchy fog. Here's an area that is experiencing some of that fog right now, I-74 at Post Road. So this is down on that east side. So if you're heading into the southeast side, that is part of your drive. You're going to want to pay attention to that. Let's take a look at the map up on our northwest side. We have that closure northbound 65 between 465 and I-865. To get around it, you can head northbound on 465 and then westbound on I-865. And this closure continues for another couple of weeks or so. So plan ahead if it's part of your drive.
Elena, thank you. Right now, Metro Police are searching for the getaway car and the suspect wanted in connection to an early morning shooting. Police say someone called 911 around 1:30 this morning after hearing gunfire at the Deer Cross Apartments. That's near 38th Street and Eagle Creek Parkway on the west side.
Officers say a man in his 40s had been shot several times. He lost a lot of blood, but police say they do not believe his injuries are life-threatening. Right now, detectives say they have different descriptions on the getaway car that left the scene.
This morning, some east side residents dealing with flooded basements as the rain just keeps falling.
They say water comes into their homes every time heavy rain moves through, and now they want the city to do something. Homeowners say the problem is that their flood drains are connected directly to the city sewer system. It only takes a few hours of rain for the damage to be done, something they're worried about as they keep an eye on this week's forecast.
Neighbors' cars flood. Our basement had water. Our neighbor's basement had raw sewage. It's an issue and it can be costly.
RTV6 looked into the east side flooding and found Citizens Energy is responsible. They investigated and determined the sewers were overfilled and could not keep up with this weekend's rainfall, but performed as expected. Citizens Energy says to avoid backups like this, talk to a plumber about installing a backwater valve. Today, an announcement is expected from the 4 women who accused the Indiana Attorney General of sexual harassment. Last year, the women accused Curtis Hill of drunkenly groping them at a party. Hill has always denied the claims. Back in October, the women said they plan to file a lawsuit against the Attorney General after a special prosecutor declined to press charges in the case. Stick with RTV6. We will have updates from today's announcements with the women and their lawyers on the news at noon and the IndyChannel.com.
South Bend police say there was no video evidence of an officer-involved shooting that left a man dead. Police say Eric Logan was shot and killed Sunday morning after he pulled a knife on officers. But now his family is outraged after news that cameras on both officers involved were turned off. Several South Bend city leaders attended a vigil hosted by Logan's family last night. They raised concerns about why the cameras were not recording. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg has canceled fundraisers for his presidential campaign through Wednesday as the investigation continues. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people are bitten by ticks and get sick.
In the last several years, there's been an increase in the amount of tick-related diseases reported in Indiana. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with the precautions you need to take to prevent ticks latching onto you or your family members. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning, Meredith. So health officials I spoke with say ticks can live in wooded areas just like this, or even in just the grass in your backyard. They crawl up your legs and then they can bury themselves in your skin, or they can just bite you and relay a tick-borne disease, which is why health officials say you need to take precautions like spraying some of this on your legs and feet before you head outside. Now, the most commonly reported tick-borne illness is Lyme disease. Symptoms start like a flu, and there can be a bullseye-like rash around the bite spot. If untreated, Lyme disease can cause lifelong problems and can be fatal. Ticks also carry other diseases like Rocky Mountain spotted fever. While cases of this are less frequent, it remains the most common fatal tick-borne disease in the U.S. If you do get a tick that has latched on, make sure you remove it the right way with a pair of tweezers.
So I'm going to bring my tweezers in as close to the skin, grab hold of the head, and then I'm just going to gently pull up, keep pressure on that until the tick finds it so uncomfortable it lets go.
Now, health officials recommend you hang on to the tick. Put it in a Ziploc bag. That way you can show your doctor exactly what bit you. This will help them determine what or if they need to pre-treat you for any diseases. Now, after being outside, health officials also recommend that you do a quick check over or have a friend do a quick check over of you to make sure that you're not bringing a tick home with you. Be sure to check behind your ears and under your armpits because that's where ticks like to live. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, good information. Thank you. Well, today, NDOT crews will check on a stretch of 465. One RTV6 viewer thinks is putting drivers at risk. Right now, temporary stickers mark the lanes of I-465 between the 69 split and 56th Street split. The stickers only have to be placed every 50 feet. A driver we spoke with says the spacing is confusing and it's hard to tell where the lanes are.
It seemed like some of them were narrower and some of them were wider, and then some of the lines were going this way and that way.
Well, today, NDOT projects managers will check that stretch to see if extra markers are necessary. Going forward, they also plan to have contractors place the temporary stickers 30 feet apart. That's the distance permanent lane markers are painted. As for lane painting, it's scheduled to happen later this week, but rain could delay the project.
The Indianapolis Public School District is taking a big step forward in the search for a new superintendent. Candidates are being interviewed today, and our Aaron Lish is live outside IPS headquarters with who's hoping to get the job. Hey, Aaron.
Good morning. So there are 3 candidates and one will be chosen to represent the 26,000 students as well as the teachers and all of the staff here with IPS. So let's take a look at them right now. Starting on the left-hand side of your screen, you have Alicia Johnson, who is currently serving as the district's interim superintendent. She has 6 years of classroom teaching experience. In the middle is Larry Young Jr. He's the assistant superintendent of elementary education in Pike Township in Indianapolis. He has 7 years of classroom experience. And then on the right is Devon Horton, who is currently the chief of schools for Jefferson County Schools in Louisville. He has 5 years of teaching experience, and they will be interviewed at the Johnson Morton Finney Center for Education Services. That is at 120 East Walnut Street. You can stop by there and see what they have to say starting at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Northside neighbors are still finding plans to turn an auto repair shop into a convenience store. It's a story we've been following for months. A Circle K in Meridian Kessler wants to get rid of Ty Tar's auto repair business and turn it into a convenience store. The shop at 49th and Pennsylvania has been serving the neighborhood for more than 40 years. At a public meeting last night, Tar and others spoke against the new plan. Many residents say the neighborhood does not want the extra traffic and potential crime the store could bring.
I think it's pretty clear that the neighborhood hasn't asked for it, doesn't want it, doesn't need it, and probably won't use it.
Well, the support's great. I'm encouraged by the turnout. I hope it makes some kind of difference, or we'll see.
Tar's lease expires in August, and he's been looking for a new location, but so far has not found one. It is 6:10. Let's get over to meteorologist Todd Clausen on this Storm Team 6 alert day.
Yeah, alert mode for several reasons. We'll start off with the immediate concern for some of you as we walk out the door, and that's some patchy, dense fog that's in and across central Indiana for your morning commute. The visibility down to a half a mile now in Indianapolis, 1 mile in Bloomington. It's a little better as you work your way to the north. So just know that there is some fog out there. The other concern is obviously the rainfall here once again this morning. Some moderate to heavy rain continues to fall from Anderson to Muncie over towards Winchester up towards the Portland area. Then some more rain is moving into areas that have had a tremendous amount of rain from Bedford over towards Seymour into North Vernon. So not expecting any widespread severe weather throughout the day today. That is the good news. Our biggest concern will be flash flooding across the area. And we had the tornadoes on Saturday. We've had stories about the tornado sirens. Here is your thing that's going to help to solve that problem. Download the Storm Shield app. It's free, and it will give you that alert, so you don't even have to rely on the warnings that are out there. If you have a smartphone, you can download that for free. It'll alert you to flash flood warnings that get issued here potentially throughout the day today, or if we have any tornado or thunderstorm watches or warnings as well. So find that. It's a great tool. Has a radar on it as well. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Still ahead, helping you land a job or make a change that works for you. Our experts are here with the jobs of the week, hiring right now. Next in Hiring Hoosiers.
Plus, thousands of President Trump supporters expected at his Orlando re-election rally tonight. But some spent the night camping out. How early they showed up to get a front row spot coming up after the break.
Stars and Stripes event at Ashley Home Store.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 6:14. Here's a look at I-465 at I-70 over on the east side. Traffic's moving along just fine. Stay tuned. I'll have your latest traffic update coming up in just a few minutes.
Elena, thank you. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's initiative aimed at connecting you to job opportunities and meaningful employment. And today we're doing just that with our Jobs of the Week segment.
Right now you could find a job at one of Indiana's biggest and fastest growing industries. RTV6's Rafael Sanchez has all the details.
This could be the opportunity that you are looking for. Anna Pentenberg with Sirion Staffing. Great to see you every Tuesday. Let's get to work. Let's see the first job of the week. This is a sit-down forklift operator.
Yes, we are looking for some more sit-down forklift operators near the airport. We have all shifts available, so first, second, and third shift. There are over 20 positions available that you can start as soon as possible. The pay depends on the shift, and it's either $14 or $14.50.
Let's head over to the town of Speedway. We're looking for sewers and seamstresses.
Yes, this is for a company called Impact Racing. This is near Speedway. They have a first shift position Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you do have sewing or embroidering experience, we need you. We want you to come see us. This starts at $12 an hour.
We are now heading to Hamilton County. This is in Carmel.
Yes, we have a class of customer routing coordinators starting on July 15th. Their shift depends on your training schedule, so once you're completed with training, they'll figure out where the biggest need is, but that's between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. You can interview as early as this week, and that starts at $13 an hour.
Let's head west to Hendricks County in Plainfield.
Yes, we need some order picker forklift operators in Plainfield. We've got second and third shift available. Second shift is Monday through Friday, 1:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at $16 an hour. And third shift is Sunday through Thursday evening, 9:15 p.m. to 6:15 a.m. at $15.50 an hour.
There's so many different jobs. The one thing you were telling me is that attitude matters, no matter whether you're a seamstress, an engineer, a TV reporter, that attitude really can pay off during that interview.
Yes, it makes you stand out significantly. So if you come in, you've got a great attitude during your interview, that sets you apart even from those people who are extremely qualified with the technical pieces of things.
Are you seeing that some folks come in maybe not so happy or not so well together that it maybe puts them at the end of the pile?
Absolutely.
So don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Come in with a great attitude, because we have these jobs of the week, and Anna wants to see you. So how do we get a hold of you?
You can call or text us at 317-870-5555, or you can check out our jobs posted at Spherion.com.
Those jobs are also posted online at hiringhoosiers.com. And these are the jobs of the week.
Raphael, thank you. And as he just mentioned, you can always find information about these specific jobs at hiringhoosiers.com. And while you're there, you can also check out our job board and search for specific employment opportunities by industry or by how many hours you would like to work. All right, Todd, I feel like you're working overtime this week with all the rain and the busy radar that we've been having.
Yeah, that and feel like a broken record, because they're basically saying the same thing, as there's once again rain in the forecast with these heavy downpours, the potential for flooding. The good news is today, as far as the severe threat, is fairly low. But as we go throughout the morning, there's some areas of fog, which will obviously be a problem for your morning commute. For some of you, be aware of that. There's a flash flood watch for most of us across the area as we build in these heavy downpours throughout the day today. Now, there's not a lot of rain here this morning, but just like yesterday, once we get into the peak heating of the day, we'll really start to flare up additional showers and storms across the area. Some heavy rain is moving right now out of the Anderson area towards Daleville. This is, though, impacting Interstate 69 there as you make your way through portions of Delaware County. Then as we slide over a little further to the east from Muncie to Selma, over towards Farmland, some heavy rainfall, and then some heavy rain between Winchester and Portland right along US 27. Then to the south, some rain moving into Bedford, now pushing into southern portions of Brown County, into Jackson County once again, and that is not good. They had over 7 to 10 inches of rain in those southern locations since Saturday, so obviously that is not going to help things. All the counties in the green, that's where the flash flood watch is in effect right now. If you are not under the flash flood watch, just know that you too could have some localized flooding later on today as we start to build in additional downpours during the peak heating of the day. But that should be on a pretty localized scale to the north, not as widespread as southern locations. So here's that next band of rain lifting to the north. Those downpours up towards Muncie and the Portland area will push off into Ohio here shortly. And today, once again, it's not a washout. There's a lot of dry hours, which is very, very muggy conditions and lots of clouds out there. But as we work our way into the afternoon hours, look how the showers and storms start to flare up once again. Main impact, heavy rainfall, maybe a little bit of lightning in spots, but nothing widespread here throughout the day today. And then overnight tonight, we get a little bit of a break. We're in the 60s and 70s this morning. I mentioned the humidity, that's sky high. That's with us throughout the entire day. That is not going to change as high temperatures eventually get up close to 80 degrees later on this afternoon. So it's a pretty uncomfortable day and a day that you need the rain gear. Now let's fast forward to tomorrow. While the storms today are pretty spotty in nature, I think tomorrow's a day they become a lot more widespread across the area. And again, they build in throughout the afternoon hours. So tomorrow morning is fairly dry. It becomes pretty wet throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours with heavy rainfall. Little better chance tomorrow of severe weather. So on Wednesday, the severe element enters back into the picture for us across the area. And then the heavy rain will continue off and on into your Thursday as well. So it's a pretty wet stretch of weather still going forward, especially Wednesday into Thursday. A bit of a break on Friday, and then Saturday is really, really warm, near 90 degrees with high humidity, and storms build back into the forecast. So overall, very unsettled. Have that umbrella handy. You'll need it in the coming days. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-65 at 71st Street on this northwest side. Now, you can see the southbound traffic is moving along just fine, but nothing is making its way in those northbound lanes, so I'll show you why right now. Let's take a look at the map. It's that northwest side closure. So the northbound lanes of 465 closed, but I-65 closed between 465 and I-865. So to get around it, you can go northbound on 465 and then westbound on I-865. This closure is expected to continue through July 1st, so plan ahead, especially if you're heading to Boone County for your morning drive or heading to Chicago for a weekend. Let's take a one last look at this map so you can see that's the only area that everything is moving slow. Might be a little bit of a slowdown heading on eastbound I-70 into the south split, but other than that, as you're making your way on the roads, you should be good to go.
Elena, thank you. Tense moments as thousands of fans packed into downtown Toronto to celebrate the Raptors NBA championship.
A shooting sent fans running and police rushing in. Officials say 3 people are in custody after the shooting that forced the celebrations to pause for a few minutes. It happened less than a block from the stage where players and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau sat. 4 people were injured in the shooting, but all are expected to be okay. A motive for the shooting has not been released just yet at this time. Today, President Trump will kick off his 2020 election campaign in Florida, and his supporters are anxiously awaiting for the rally. Many spent the night camping out so they can be the first ones in the arena today. Some of those supporters started showing up at 4 a.m. on Monday, more than 40 hours ahead of tonight's rally.
Arriving early, I love to be able to have almost eye contact. If I'm going to go somewhere, I want to be up front.
The Orlando Arena, where the rally will be held, can hold around 20,000 people. Still ahead, work now underway on a new police headquarters in Whitestown. How it will allow the department to expand and better serve Boone County, coming up in 15 minutes.
Plus, everyone's favorite sports fan celebrating with his hometown. What happened when Drake was given a reporter's microphone during the Raptors victory parade. That's after the break.
And that place is Cedar Point.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 6:25. Here's a look at I-65 at 71st Street. Southbound traffic's moving through the northbound lanes. You can see nothing's moving through. That's part of that northwest side closure.
All right, Elena, thank you. Drake was one of the thousands of fans who packed in to celebrate the Toronto Raptors' first NBA championship. He's been one of the team's very enthusiastic fans, sitting courtside for home games in his hometown.
So it seemed fitting he was a part of yesterday's parade. Then a Canadian reporter walking along that parade used some traffic that slowed things down to test out Drake's reporting skills.
Yeah, I'm going to throw the mic to Drake. Here we go.
Hey, coming to you live from a big city.
First of all, great catch. Second of all, Drake later said he had no idea who that reporter was, but he gave him a shout out for his plaid jacket. Wow, I've never had anyone that cool hold my microphone.
No, but I would also have been scared to throw it up there and then it just crashed to the ground.
Well, and I also would have been afraid to throw it up there and him maybe say
that's one of the things you learn.
Yes,
don't give your
bad word.
That was probably the biggest concern.
Yes.
So, all right, outside right now we're dealing with some heavy downpours. Don't be cursing out the weather, man. We've told you it's going to rain, and it's going to continue to rain here off and on throughout the next few days. Some rain moving back into Bedford and Seymour. Some downpours to the north. It's warm. It's muggy today. No severe weather is expected, but there is the potential for thunderstorms and flash flooding, with highs eventually climbing up into the low 80s. The time now is 6:27. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Breaking now at 6:30, a man is rushed to the hospital this morning after a shooting on the city's west side. The reason police say they are having a hard time tracking down the person who pulled the trigger.
And tornado sirens are supposed to warn you that a storm is on the way. But just ahead, we're finding out why the sirens didn't activate until 40 minutes after a tornado hit Beach Grove on Saturday.
And keeping your family and pets safe when they head outside this summer. The important things you need to be aware of as we are right in the middle of tick season. It is 6:30 on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. Meteorologist Todd Clausen here with the not so good news. you're saying the biggest concern today is the flooding.
Yeah, you know, severe weather obviously had in everybody's mind with what we went through on Saturday, and we had some more thunderstorm warnings on Sunday and yesterday. Today, the severe threat's probably pretty low, but the heavy rainfall is still going to be with us, and that's probably the biggest problem for the day today. So this morning, a lot of you are completely dry. You won't have a drop of rain heading into work. That is the good news, but where it is raining, it's coming down quite heavy, and that's over here in portions of the farmland area over to Winchester, up towards the Portland area. Then there's some spotty downpours back now towards Middletown. They have cleared Anderson. You had quite a bit of rain earlier, but you are dry now. And then we have some additional rain moving through portions of Mitchell, Bedford, Medora, over towards Seymour. And this is exactly what we do not want. Look at some of these rainfall totals where you see these dark reds, the purples, the yellow. That's where we've seen anywhere from 7 to 10 inches of rain. So obviously this area has the best chance of seeing additional flooding here with the additional rainfall throughout the day today. So everything's pretty spotty here this morning, but as we work our way throughout the day today, as we get into the peak heating, that's when the showers and storms will become the most numerous here throughout the afternoon. With muggy conditions today, Elena, high temperatures top off right around 80 degrees.
All right, thank you, Todd. The good news is no major problems out there on the roads right now. Coming in from the east side, heading westbound on I-70 from Post Road to I-65. Should run you about 10 minutes, so traffic's flowing just fine right now. Let's take a look at this stretch on our live in.dot traffic camera. I-465 at I-70 on that east side, and you can see everything is flowing just fine.
All right, Elena, thank you. Right now, Metro Police are searching for the getaway car and the suspect wanted in connection to an early morning shooting. Police say someone called 911 around 1:30 this morning after hearing gunfire at the Deer Cross Apartments. That's near 38th Street and Eagle Creek Parkway on the west side. Officers say a man in his 40s had been shot several times. He lost a lot of blood, but police say they do not believe his injuries were life-threatening. Right now, detectives say they have many different descriptions on the getaway car that left the scene.
When 8 tornadoes ripped across central Indiana on Saturday, many people were alerted to head to safety by tornado sirens. That wasn't the case in Marion County, though, where the sirens didn't sound until about 40 minutes after a tornado hit Beech Grove. The delay could have cost lives and has left several people frustrated.
Then the sirens go off, telling us to get to safety, and we all joked about it and laughed about it, like, oh, thanks for the warning. And realistically, if it had been a worse tornado, then people could have gotten really hurt because there was no siren.
So what went wrong? Call 6 Investigates learned Marion County sirens are managed and operated by IMPD's Homeland Security Bureau. They use 4 computers across the county to set off the sirens. IMPD says the computer at Marion County's Emergency Operations Center is what usually controls the sirens, but because the center does not operate 24 hours a day, it was under the control of the Marion County Sheriff's Office dispatch when the tornadoes hit. We reached out to Marion County for a response, and we'll let you know when we hear back.
The investigation into a deadly apartment fire in Elwood continues this morning. Investigators say the fire started in the victim's apartment on South B Street. Firefighters say when they arrived on scene, they learned someone may be inside and searched the apartment. A 59-year-old man was found inside the burning building and was pronounced dead at the scene. Fire officials say they're still working to determine what started the fire.
An Indiana man accused of catfishing a woman in Alaska is now facing murder charges after convincing that woman he'd pay millions for her to kill someone, then send him photos. This morning, we're learning more about the arrest of 21-year-old Darren Shillmiller from New Salisbury. Police in Alaska say Shillmiller convinced 18-year-old Denali Brimmer, the woman he was having a relationship with online, to commit a murder. Court records say Brimmer enlisted friends by telling them they would receive substantial shares of money for their part in the planning and execution of the murder. Shillmiller is now awaiting extradition to Alaska.
This morning, community leaders on the far east side of Indianapolis are celebrating a bit of a milestone. Leaders say the area has gone 1 year without a homicide. The 10-Point Coalition and Indiana Attorney General's office called Monday's milestone a day of progress. Indianapolis and Lawrence leaders are praising 10-Point for the group's work to fight violence. Last summer, the 10-Point Coalition expanded its reach thanks to a $50,000 grant from the Indiana Attorney General's office.
The warmer weather means new threats when you head outside. Tick season is here, and these little critters can carry diseases that then cause lifelong problems. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. Alyssa, what are some things people can do to stay safe?
So there's a few easy things, Meredith, and if people are heading out into a wooded area like this or even out into your backyard and the grass there, health professionals say you need to take some of those precautions. Now, one of the easiest things that you can do is spray some of this, a bug repellent with at least 25% of DEET in it, and you should concentrate that spray to the bottom half of your body, like your legs and your feet. Now, those are the areas that those ticks are going to crawl up on first and crawl up your body. They like to be behind your ears and hide under your armpits. Those are the two spots that you should be checking if you are concerned that you have gotten a tick latched onto your body. Now, in the last several years, there has been a 25% increase in tick-related diseases in Indiana. There are 3 different kinds of ticks you may encounter here, but the deer tick is the one that carries the most common disease, Lyme disease. Lyme disease symptoms start like the flu and a rash and can be treated with antibiotics if it's caught early. Mary Kay Foster is the Special Pathogens Program Manager at IU Health. She says if the disease is not caught in time, it can have lifelong impacts.
Anywhere from tremors, severe headaches, a lot of neurological issues. Arthritis is another common one with Lyme's disease, joint pain. People can die from it, especially if it gets into the lining of the brain.
And it's not just you the ticks are interested in. Keep an eye on your pets this summer. Talk to your vet about collars and medicines that help prevent ticks from latching on. Now, along with wearing this insect repellent, they say that you should also check yourself before going back inside your house to make sure you're not bringing those ticks along with you. And as I said before, you should check under your armpits and behind your ears because that's where those ticks like to hide. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Good information, Alyssa. Thank you. A new $3 million police headquarters is scheduled to open next year in Whitestown. The building will be on 6 acres of land at Veterans Drive, where the Whitestown Municipal Complex is located. Right now, the police department operates out of a small wing inside the municipal complex. The building includes space for a detective division, a computer forensic lab, a training room and fitness facilities, a holding cell, and traffic court.
The hallways are quiet at Indianapolis Public Schools, but there will be plenty of activity today in the district as candidates interviewed to become the new IPS superintendent. Our Aaron Lish is live at the headquarters this morning with the background of each person going for that big job. Hey, Aaron.
Good morning. So starting at 5 this afternoon, you can listen to those candidates who will ultimately represent the district and oversee more than 26,000 students at IPS. So there are 3 different candidates. Here is the first one. This is Larry Young Jr. He's the Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education in Pike Township in Indianapolis. He has 7 years of classroom experience. Next is Devon Horton, who right now is the Chief of Schools for Jefferson County Schools in Louisville. He has 5 years of teaching experience. And then finally, Alicia Johnson, who's currently serving as the district's interim superintendent. She has 6 years of classroom teaching experience. You can come here to the IPS headquarters to listen to them again at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The commissioners are hoping to name that new superintendent by the end of this month. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Aaron. The time now is 6:39. You're getting going here on this Tuesday morning, and you're taking your favorite 4-legged friend out for a walk. Our featured dog of the day today is Rome. He's all ready to go for his walk. There's his toy ready as well. Thanks to Lisa for sending Rome in to us, and you can send your pictures to my Facebook page, Todd Clausen at RTV6, and we'll get them on the air here eventually. As far as today's forecast, throw the yellow paws out there as we'll have the potential for some heavy downpours with temperatures eventually up to right around 80 degrees. Now, it's not going to be raining at all times here throughout the day today, but you do notice we have some heavy downpours right now over in portions of Portland as well as Winchester into the Muncie area, then some rain down to the south as well. So while there's some spotty rain shower chances here this morning, the better rain chance activity will be this afternoon. During the peak heating of the day, we'll start to build that in. It's a muggy and uncomfortable day as high temperatures get up to right around 80 degrees. The severe threat is pretty low today, but it ramps back up through throughout the day tomorrow. More on that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Ready to launch his campaign for re-election today. The scene this morning in Florida as President Trump prepares for his first official 2020 rally.
And it's a giveaway every music fan isn't going to want to miss. Just after the break, we have your chance to win tickets to see Dave Matthews Band live in concert. It's 6:40. We'll be right back.
Island. It's amazing in here.
President Trump will officially kick off his campaign for a second term tonight in Florida. Trump supporters started lining up for the Orlando rally almost 2 days before the event is even slated to begin. The First Lady, the Vice President, and his wife will also be there. After the kickoff, Trump will head to his resort outside Miami, where he'll hit a high-dollar fundraiser tomorrow. The president faces a crowded field of Democrats hoping to take back the White House.
This morning, tensions continue to escalate between the U.S. and Iran. This morning, Iran is threatening to exceed the limit of its uranium stockpile, breaking the 2015 nuclear deal. American officials are calling that move a nuclear blackmail. Meanwhile, the U.S. military is also releasing new images of the tanker attack in the Gulf of Oman. Officials say pictures show the Iranian Revolutionary Guard removing an unexploded mine from one of the tankers. The military is also accusing Iran of attempting to shoot down a drone monitoring the attack. The U.S. will send 1,000 more troops to the Middle East as tensions with Iran continue to tick up. The acting defense secretary announced the deployment in a statement on Monday. He reiterated the fact that the U.S. is not looking for a conflict with Iran. He says the troops are being sent for defense purposes to protect U.S. interests in the area. The U.S. continues to blame Iran for the attack last week on 2 tankers in a key shipping area. Iran denies any involvement, adding to escalating tensions. Tehran has announced it will no longer comply with a deal that keeps it from making nuclear weapons.
Bourbon lovers, you might want to look away. More than 4,000 barrels of bourbon spilled when a storehouse collapsed in Kentucky. Officials say no one was injured, but you can see the mess the collapse caused at the O.Z. Tyler Distillery in Owensboro. Officials say it will take at least a month to clean up the debris, stabilize the remainder of the building, and remove all of that bourbon. Company leaders say they believe the collapse was caused by strong storms in the area. And we have some storms expected today, thankfully. Nothing that will cause that type of damage or destruction, Todd.
Yeah, at least today. Today our storms are mainly some lightning and some heavy downpours. We probably won't have much in the way of wind, but the weather headline going forward is definitely stormy conditions as we do probably get back into the severe threat during the day tomorrow. Outside right now, here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar, and there's not a whole lot on it, to be honest with you, but where it is coming down, raining, it's coming down pretty hard over towards the Muncie area, Daleville up towards Gaston, and then some isolated downpours as well as you work your way off towards the east here from Portland down towards Winchester, and then down to the south we have some light rain falling from Seymour back over and towards the Mitchell and the Bedford area, and that is not good news as that's where we've had the heaviest of the rain over the past 24 to 48 hours. So the flash flood watch is posted for all the counties you see here in green. Even in northern locations where you're not under the flash flood watch, you could even see some localized flooding as well with some downpours that build in over the course of the next few days. So we have 2 batches of rain that I just showed you, and it's all kind of sliding off towards the east. And there's a lot of dry hours here once again, especially the first half of the day. So these waves of rain come through along this front that's just kind of stalled across the area. And as we get into the peak heating of the day, that's when we start to flare up a lot of these storms. So even though we won't see much of any in the way of sunshine here throughout the day today, obviously the sun is above the clouds, and that's enough to create the instability in the atmosphere. So it's just a spot downpour this morning, but look how things flare up later on this afternoon with these isolated downpours here and there. So you need to have the rain gear handy throughout the day today. And again, the biggest threat for our afternoon and evening will be the potential of some flash flooding, localized flooding across the area. Temperatures this morning are in the 60s and 70s. It's very muggy out there. There's a little bit of patchy fog as well throughout the day today. Temperatures get up to right around 80 degrees for us with just those those isolated downpours throughout the afternoon hours. Now, jump ahead to tomorrow. This is your Wednesday forecast. You notice a good chunk of the area is back under the slight risk for severe weather. And tomorrow's a day where the storms are a lot more widespread than they are today. So today's kind of just what we'll call a brief break in the widespread rain. Now, tomorrow morning gets off to a good start. During the peak heating of the day, we build in the storms, and then here comes the next wave of rain through. And this would be the best potential for severe weather. It's going to be throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And then the heavy downpours continue into Thursday morning as well. So as we look ahead in this forecast, the rainfall potential will show anything from just a couple tenths of an inch to some areas seeing 2 to 3 inches of rain. It's just a matter of who gets stuck in these heavy downpours over the course of the next few days. As far as a pretty good break in the storms, that arrives on Friday. I put mainly dry because can't completely rule out the chance of an isolated storm with the heat and humidity that's around, but then better storm chances, unfortunately, once again build back in for the weekend. We have had not a good stretch of weather these past few weekends. The one thing you will notice on Saturday is going to be very warm with high temperatures near 90 degrees. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. As you're hitting the roads, not too much happening. We have that interstate closure, though. Those northbound lanes of I-65 between I-465 and I-865, they're closed to get around and head northbound on 465 and then westbound on I-865. So just keep that in mind. This closure continues through July 1st. So let's take a look at the roads right now. This is on the south side. You can see that fog up there in the sky. So traffic is moving along just fine for your morning drive without backup or delay. The roads are dry right now, but as you continue through the day out there on the roadways, pay attention for areas there might be any ponding as the day continues with rain.
Elena, thank you. You're going to want to listen up if you have Lay's potato chips laying around. We're working for you this morning with a recall alert. Lay's is recalling lightly salted barbecue flavored potato chips. The chips could have an undeclared milk allergen. The company says flavoring for another kind of chip which contains milk was mistakenly inserted into some of the bags of the lightly salted barbecue variety. The chips were sold in 7-ounce bags in 24 different states. They do have a guaranteed fresh date of August 27th. All right, well, you've waited long enough, and now it's time for our big Good Morning Indiana giveaway. Right now is your chance to win 2 tickets to see Dave Matthews Band live in concert here in Indianapolis. The show is set for Friday, June 28th at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. All you need to do is be the 6th caller right now. Here's the phone number, 317-269-1459. Good luck. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Working for you. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:52. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. We're working for you, helping you get your Tuesday morning started.
We have all your top stories covered, and Elena Martella is keeping a close eye on the foggy morning drive. We do want to start off with Todd Clausen on another Storm Team 6 alert day.
Yeah, once again, downpours are in the forecast throughout the day today. This morning, we have a few downpours from Muncie over into portions of the Winchester area, then up towards Portland, and then some rain down to the south, right along US 50 between Bedford and the Seymour area. So there are some small rain chances here this morning, but most of us are pretty dry with just very warm and muggy conditions. What happens throughout the day, though, today with the heat and humidity that'll be around, high temperatures climb up into the 80s. Be on the lookout for additional showers and thunderstorms to flare up this afternoon. Localized flooding, the main impact. We are not expecting any severe weather throughout the day today.
Todd, thank you. This morning, some east side residents are dealing with flooded basements as the rain just keeps falling. They say water comes into their homes every time heavy rain moves through, and now they want the city to do something. Homeowners say the problem is that their flood drains are connected directly to the city's sewer system. RTV6 looked into the issue and found Citizens Energy is responsible. They investigated and determined the sewers were overfilled and could not keep up with this weekend's rainfall, but performed as expected. Citizens Energy says to avoid backups like this, talk to a plumber about installing a backwater valve.
The weather is also causing issues for state parks. Today, Brown County State Park and Abe Martin Lodge are closed. The Department of Natural Resources says the supply of usable water is low because of all the rain. They will reevaluate conditions each day this week and determine if the parks can reopen.
Today, an announcement is expected from the 4 women who accused the Indiana Attorney General of sexual harassment. Last year, the women accused Curtis Hill of drunkenly groping them at a party. Hill has always denied the claims. Back in October, the women said they plan to file a lawsuit against the Attorney General after a special prosecutor declined to press charges in the case.
South Bend police say there is no video evidence of an officer-involved shooting that left a man dead. Police say Eric Logan was shot and killed Sunday morning after he pulled a knife on officers. But now his family is outraged after news that the cameras on both officers involved were turned off. Alyssa.
It is tick season here in central Indiana, and health officials say you need to take precautions before heading out to wooded areas like this or even out to your backyard. And that's because there's been an increase in tick-borne illnesses here in the state in just the past couple years. Now, one of the easiest things you can do is use this, an insect repellent with at least 25% of DEET in it. Spray this on the bottom half of your body, including your legs and your feet, because that's where ticks like to crawl up, and then they crawl up your body and bury themselves in your skin. Now, if you do think you may have a tick on you, you should check yourself, and you should also check yourself after being outside to make sure you're not bringing one home with you.
Good morning. We are outside the Indianapolis Public School headquarters as they begin interviewing candidates for superintendent. So right now on your screen, you are seeing 3 candidates, which are Alicia Johnson, Larry Young Jr., and Devon Horton. All 3 have at least 5 years of teaching experience. And you can hear what they have to say this afternoon at 5 p.m. at the Johnson Morton Finney Center for Educational Services. Commissioners are hoping to make this selection by the end of this month. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Aaron. When you're hitting the roads, not too much happening right now. We just had that northbound 65 closure up on that northwest side between 465 and I-865. To get around it, you can always head northbound on 465 and then westbound on I-865. This closure continues until July 1st.
There could be a spot downpour or 2 here throughout the morning hours, but most of us enjoy just muggy conditions, unfortunately, and mostly cloudy skies. Better storm chances build in throughout the afternoon and evening hours with locally heavy downpours. A flash flood watch is issued here across the entire area as we go throughout the course of the day today. Watch for those storms to produce locally heavy rain, but we are not expecting any widespread severe weather.
Todd, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes with local news, weather, and traffic during Good Morning America.
Remember, all your news throughout the day can be found on the RTV6 app. Here's a view across central Indiana on a foggy start to the morning. Have a great day.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Terry Lee Hyundai on Highway 37 in Noblesville.
Hiring Hoosiers.
Only on RTV6.
For you, maybe fresh means organic, tasty, or a little tangy. Yeah, we get you. And we've got that at prices that'll let you really dig in. Who's Mr. Quick?
I am. We get that it's a bad day when your AC goes out.
So we'll be there right away.
Call Mr. Quick for on time.
Busy. That's life for you. So while you get to it, we're going nonstop to keep you running. No running around. For new key fobs, plus your neighborhood's largest selection of batteries plus bulbs. Plus, if your phone needs fixing, we do that too. Know-how right now. That's our specialty. Stop by Batteries Plus Bulbs and save on Duracell Ultra boat, RV, and lawn and garden batteries. Or visit batteriesplus.com.
Your refrigerator, air conditioner, water heater will all die sometime. When they do, your homeowner's insurance won't cover them. Be sure your budget's protected with an American Home Shield home warranty. We help cover the cost to repair or replace components of your systems and appliances, no matter their age. Limitations and exclusions apply. Home systems and appliances will eventually die. Count on American Home Shield to get you back up and running.
Oh, air conditioner.
conditioner, too?
Be sure your budget's protected. For free information, call 1-800-710-1227. That's 1-800-710-1227.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield.
We're Mr. Quick. And remember, if you need air conditioning service, we'll fix a bad day.
The same day.
Call Mr. Quick and get an air conditioning